All right, so I'm gonna do the part two. I figured I'll do the part two for this. And where I'll begin is again. So I said I wanted to talk about Miami a little bit in depth, a little bit more in depth. Um, and again, understand that I'm talking about Miami vibes. I'm talking about like Florida. I'm talking about even places around it. Cuba, Dominican, Colombia. And I'm talking about many different years and for many years. So so for example, okay, so when you go, when you're very young, and I was very young, like I remember the first time I went to a nightclub, I was 18 years old. I went to a very nice nightclub, by the way. But I was 18 years old. It was my first time. And I went in, and I told you, and I've talked about this before. They actually I still have the picture in my phone. I should post it up one day. But I went in there, and everybody's eyes were on me and everything. I thought it was because I was young, but I thought I was kind of cute, to be honest. I was 18 years old, and I didn't think that at that time. But now, thinking all the way back, I must have thought I was kind of cute, kind of thing. But I thought it was just because I was kind of cute and I was so young, and that's why everybody was looking at me. But they were looking at me like I was very young. Everybody was just like it was literally like I was just walking through, and everyone was just like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, whoa. And it was my first time in the club. Obviously, they could probably sense it. I'm new. I'm very young and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I remember that, and then but that club closed down right away. But I still went clubbing. I'd say every now and then, every month or something, I go to a nightclub. I had certain spots that I like going to. And I'm talking about earlier on. I like this one spot. I think it closed down, but it was really cool. I went there I went there many, 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 many times. But I can't really it was a weird time. I had my own apartment and I had time and I had a job, but I had time and I did go out to nightclubs and it was fun. I would hang out. I would do my thing or whatever. But the point is, I think to them, I was just very young. And I think it was very obvious that I wasn't really an adult at that point. And again, 19 years old, living in my own apartment for a year. I wasn't an adult, and I was just like kind of a young kid. And girls don't really, when you talk about adult girls, I'm not talking about girls you go to school with and college with and high school with. I mean, when you're meeting women out there and you're really young, I mean, what are they thinking? Like, this dude is not even rich and he's probably got his own apartment and he's just he's very independent, but he's too young, he's too inexperienced, he doesn't really have the responsibility level and the mentality for me to date him. He's not mature enough for me to date him. And some girls are probably like, I'd like to have fun with him for a weekend, but I would never want to have an actual relationship with him because he's not even independent enough for himself. So how is he gonna, how could I date a guy like that? You know what I mean? And I know you're gonna think, wow, you're an idiot, and I know you're matured now, but why the fuck would you break it down like that, right? But that's the truth, though. You know what I mean? I kind of fell out of clubs, and I just started doing my own thing, and it was kind of nice doing my own thing, it's kind of cool. But yeah, like I went to college after that. I really slowed down on the going out. I'd say for 2 years. A year and a half for 2 years, a year and a half for 2 years, I totally stopped that whole clubbing and partying thing. Was I still in Miami? Yeah, I was in Miami. I had those Miami vibes, eh? I had them going on. I was just, I was still, anyways, I was still doing my thing. I went to college. I was always working and stuff, and I've told you about that. But like I'll tell you, so that last year in Miami, and I've told you about that. I went to 3 different countries, 3 different trips, blah blah blah, 4 different countries actually, and 3 different trips, and I was doing a lot of stuff. And I told you I was working full time. I was outside a lot, and it was funny because people saw the way I look right now. They probably would treat me different. Because the funny thing is that like I this happened quite a few times. You'd have like people were so convinced about me being something, and they didn't really, because my face did not grow in until I got older. Like I didn't grow until I matured. So my face kind of gave people the impression that I might be, people thought that I was, if anything, I was Arab, or I was Middle East. Well, they thought I was Arab, and that that I may be a little bit part European or Italian, or well, usually they thought I was part Italian. Okay, so they thought that I was Arab and part Italian, and a lot of times they thought that I was Saudi, right? They thought that I was Saudi, and that I was part Italian. I think that's why they thought that I was rich. I met a lot of girls who just, and people who just thought I was rich right off the bat, and I have to kind of, try to explain. And when they found out that I wasn't, they had no interest in me. Those are the kind of people that you don't want to talk to. The people will meet you and go, man, this guy's got dollar signs all over him. And then they're like disappointed. Oh, he's not rich. Screw him, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So they thought I was Saudi or Italian. But my face didn't look like this is like my genuine face. I didn't look like that at that time. I had people call me amigo like 100 times. They'd call me amigo and things like that. A girl would call. I remember this. There was this group of girls and guys, these white girls and white guys, and I'm standing at the door because I'm the valet, and she goes, "Oh, hi, amigo," and I don't say anything, and the guy looks at me, and she goes in, and the guy goes to me, "Dude, do not let her call you that," right? And I'm like, I didn't react to it at all. Literally, that's what she's and she's a tall white girl, attractive, and the guy, and they were in a group of guys and girls. But she was coming in at the end, and he was behind her. And she went, "Oh, thank you, amigo." And I didn't say anything. And as she went in, the guy looks at me and he goes, "Dude, do not let her call you amigo." And I didn't even react. I was like, it's whatever. You know what I mean? I didn't even react to it, but I had no issue with that. Now what I'm trying to explain to you is that how crazy it is. Somebody sees your face, thinks you're one thing, right? And then they think you're either you're acting like you're Latin, either I'm acting like I'm Latin, or that I have friends that are Latin, or I just think it's cool to be Latin. So that's why I'm trying to be Latin, but I'm really Arab and partly mixed with Italian. That's what I really am, and that's what they're really thinking. You know what I mean? Like really that really is what people are thinking. So, from their perspective, it was she kind of insulted me because she thought I was trying to be that. And I actually had this conversation. So that the funny thing is, later on that year, maybe a month or two after that experience, this was one of the last times that I went back to that Yorkville bar that I would hang out at. And I go there, and so I went there one night, and there was this guy. I said, "What's up?" to him. I was talking to him and stuff. And this girl was kind of really impressed that I knew him. And she goes to me, "How do you know him?" And I don't know. I just kind of like met him and kind of like, just had an understanding with him. So she goes, "Oh, really?" Blah, blah, blah. She's really like into me. The next time I went to that bar, 2 weeks later, I see her there and I say, "What's up?" And she's so excited. She wants to dance with me. She was going crazy dancing with me and everything. Some guy shows up in a suit to talk to her. And he goes, "Hey, excuse me. Is it cool if I say, yeah, go ahead." He's talking to her. I can't hear them. And then she comes back to me and he goes, hey, it's cool. Thanks for the waiting around or whatever the fuck he said. And he leaves. And she starts getting the hiccups, right? And I'm like, I've never seen this before. I go to her, I'm like, has this ever happened to you before? She's like, no. She's having nonstop hiccups. She's drinking. She's doing everything. And the hiccups won't go away. And then we go to the patio and her friend shows up. And that was when I felt it just dying. I was like, dude, but I had that before and I don't know. I didn't really care, but I saw it dying and I knew that it was going to die. And the last thing she says to me, she goes, "Oh, you're being fake." I'm like, "Why?" "Because you're pretending to be Spanish." Or she didn't even say Latin, "You're pretending to be Spanish." And I'm like, I don't know, man. Anyways, I leave, right? But that was 2 separate times in that same summer that happened to me. And that happened to me a lot. People would be like, why is this guy pretending to be Latin all the time? You know what I mean? But sometimes people will say, "Oh, this guy looks like a cholo," or he looks Latin, or whatever the case is. Some people would tell me that I look kind of whitish or whatever the case is, But really, what they thought they saw when they saw my face was they thought they saw a Saudi face, mixed with Italian. That's what they thought they saw, right? And then on my and then when my face would get sweaty and dirty and tan, and like sometimes it would get dark from not even dark, like just from dirt on my face, I'd be sweating so much. You know what I mean? Because I'd be playing some sport or something. I'd be sweating. My hair was full, so everything was full of sweat. And then some people thought that I had a Turkish face, right? They thought that very few people actually thought I was Turkish, but there were people who were convinced that I was Turkish. I met a guy once, and he hated Turkish people, but he would never say it. And he thought I was Turkish, so he hated me. And then when he found out that I wasn't, he just became a totally different person to me the next day. It was just like, hey man, how you do? Oh my god, hey, what's up, man? You're so cool, man. I love, like was just being so, dude, you're so cool, man. All this shit to me. You know what I mean? Just changed the type of guy that he was to me, which is insane, And so people that now when people see me 100 and a million percent, they think I'm Latin, man. They think I'm Latin. And I'll tell you why. Let me get to that. I'm not your typical white guy. I do not look white. When you're talking about Canadian or American white people, I do not look white. I'm not your typical white man or white male. I don't have white male features. But at the same time, I don't have Indian features. I don't have Middle Eastern features. I don't have African features. I don't have Oriental or Asian features from any part of Asia. You know what I mean? And if you really look at, and that's why, one day I actually showed somebody a picture of Vlad the Impaler, like his actual portrait and painting, and the guy went, whoa. I showed it maybe like a month or two ago. I'm like, dude, this is Vlad the Impaler. He goes, whoa, is that really what he looked like? I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, tell me that doesn't look like my brother. He's like, fuck, this is fucking mind blowing. Like he was taking he's like, are you serious? That's what he looks like? You know what I mean? And I showed it to more people. They're like, dude, I'm like, does that not look like my brother? They're like, dude, that looks exactly fucking like you. I always thought, what are my eyes? I must have weird eyes. I looked at him and I'm like, that's me, man. Fuck all this shit, And my hair is more lighter too, people say stupid shit. Oh, when I was young, my hair was so light. Now it's dark brown or black or whatever. But I had colored hair. I've heard people tell me stupid shit like that. It's like, no, I might have been younger, dude. Now, like cause look, it's black. It's not fucking highlighted. When the light hits it, you see what it is. I don't color my hair, But you can see, dude, every day I post a video. Right now, there's sometimes sunlight, and you can see this is colored. But I posted one when I was in the mirror, like outside on the street, and I was putting my camera to the mirror, and at that time it was sunny. All my hair was like, yeah, like just amber, amber blonde or not blonde, like Latin. That's it, the lightest shade of Latin, And I look at everything. I'm like, I look Latin, dude. I don't look like your typical Canadian or American person. Your typical white person. I don't look like a typical white person. You know what I mean? And I don't look French either. I don't look French. I don't look German. I don't look Nordic, man. You know what I mean? I don't even look Italian, man. I know what Italian people look like. I don't look Italian, man. You know what I mean? And the thing with us, and this is what I really believe, that because we're from the old Latin people, right? And I've already talked about this. You don't need to, go through everything. Because I'm from the old Latin people, what happens is that, naturally when Cortez and the conquistadors went to Latin America, they didn't say, dude, let's colonize this place and leave. No, Cortez said, dude, I've had a son with this. I've had a son here. I had my son. My son is born in New Spain. He declared it New Spain. He said, my son is born here, and that this is going to be a new race. It's not going to be Latin race. It's going to be Latino. You know what I mean? So, and he was Latin, dude. He was originally Latin. Like, he came from Spain or something. You know what I mean? The guy's originally Latin. You know what I mean? So for us, this is what I really believe is original old Europe, old Latin people from Europe, from Romania, wherever. Us people, when we go to America or something, we may be confused. Well, not even confused, but we may be called Latino. If we go to the States, we're going to be called Latino 100%. When old Latin people like us with our features, we go to states or anything, they're going to be like, or we go to anywhere in Latin America, they're going to think that we're Latino, man. 100%. This is the unique way that our features and our skin and our features just are. You know what I mean? So I'm out of time, unfortunately. I'd like a minute more, but I'm out.